everyone. Thanks for attending today. We'll go ahead and open up the questions for Coach. Greg, you want to start?
Okay, well, coaches, I mean, your thoughts of what you've seen, not just today in practice, but throughout the summer, what you've seen out of this group?
Yeah, the biggest thing, like when you have a whole group of new guys, it takes some time to figure each other out, both as coaches and players. As coaches, you're trying to figure out how to best utilize each guy's individual strengths and put them in the best position, and vice versa. The players are trying to figure out what you want from them. So I felt like over the 6-7 weeks, we've made some strides. The biggest thing is just you got to learn how, as a group, how to win together, and that's the part that takes probably the longest time. That's why I'm glad we get summer workouts to work through some of that stuff.
So what do you hope to get out of this tour? And how beneficial is it? Have you done one before? And how beneficial are they?
Yeah, I've been on several tours. They're a great opportunity, mostly from just a chance to go see the world. That's something a lot of these guys, myself included, may not ever get the chance to do, to go see places, like Italy, and but more importantly, just a chance to get to spend some time outside of basketball in a different type of perspective with one another, and that's what I love about the timing of this trip for us. Got a whole new group, whole new staff, so get to go spend 10, 11 days on a trip is certainly good timing for us to get to know one each other on a more personal level outside of basketball.
We used to get a lot of value out of these, but it seems like now the way the practices are arranged and set up, it's not really the case anymore because everybody's practicing anyway, right?
Yeah, it used to be like this was a huge deal. Every 4 years, you get those 10 extra practices because you didn't get access or you only had 2 hours a week. Now with 4 hours a week, you get those 10 extra practices, but you can go a little longer, like a day like today where this is our Italy practice, so to speak. So now you can extend it a little longer, do a few more things. But it's not quite as valuable, but still some benefit. Allowed us to put in maybe some things, do a little extra film work, that type of stuff in the middle of the summer.
Coaches, you're trying to bring all of this together. In your opinion, what are some of the biggest obstacles you're going through with trying to get all of these guys to gel together?
Yeah, it's mentioned early. It's just making, or not making, helping us create our identity. What do we want that to be every single day, and what does that look like? And like I've told them, a day like today, or even when we just have a fan or a supporter come by and watch us, they should be able to leave and know what our identity is. And if they can't, then we're not there yet. And so we're still working on that, with what that looks like. But we want people to leave our gym and talk about how hard we play, talk about how much energy and enthusiasm we play with, how connected we are. And those are the type of things that take time. Right now in the summertime, you have a lot of thinking taking place. So sometimes it's hard to play fast and free when you're having to process, stuff in your mind because you get you bog down, trying to learn new plays, new terminology, when you only have, essentially one guy, which was Tucker, that knows any of the stuff that we ran before. Everybody's learning new stuff. Even some of the good portion of the staff is learning, new terminology, new ways that we're trying to do things. So again, it's a process that takes some time. That's why I'm glad we don't play till November.
The energy that you talk about trying to bring with the team, how much of that also kind of goes into, look, we got to get these guys to play harder because it looks like you guys are going to be smaller compared to most Big 12 teams.
Yeah.
And you got to make up for that somehow.
Yeah. Size is, love to have size, and sometimes you don't have it. So how do you offset it? And like you said, it's there's still a physicality that can make that a more even benchmark for us, and that's the piece that we're growing into and learning to understand is like if we're going to be undersized, you got to do certain things to make sure that we can still survive on the glass, to make sure we can survive guarding the ball, whatever those things may be. But and there aren't any shortcuts to it, and even in a scrimmage like today where you see one team get up by 17, 18. They're making shots. The other team wasn't. But it's more about how do you stay in those games when you're not making shots. And that's why you have to rely on your defense. You have to rely on rebounding because you're not going to shoot it well every night. So you need to be able to stay in those games and find a different way to win. And that's the best formula is to guard better and rebound better.
Anything about the scrimmage catch your eye or surprised by the score at all? Or
Not really. I mean, I think it's great for us. You get it on film. It's great teaching moments to why does one score look this way? Why does the other score look the other way? And then you grow from that. And that's why these are fun to do in the summertime because they don't get talked about quite as much in the paper the next day. So.
Watching your drills and seeing how they fold into, obviously 3-on-3 and then on to 5-on-5, is there a place where you start to know, hey, they're starting to get it because they're really sharp at the drills and you see it carrying over? And obviously, at one point you emphasized, hey, we're not bringing that over to this 5-on-5 session.
Yeah, and part of it, and it's nobody's fault. In summertime we don't do a ton of conditioning, so they're not in great shape. And you can see that, we go through the drill work. We try to do it at fairly up-tempo pace and speed. And when we get to that 5-on-5, portion of it, we're not quite there to compete at the highest level we need to yet. Some of that's conditioning, and then the rest of that's the hardest part of basketball is taking it from the half court, taking it from drill work, and now making that carry over into your 5-on-5 play. And that's the piece that takes the longest is to get to that part.
See them learn some of those things you were emphasizing from the drills, though, at least in spots and carrying those over?
Yeah, even though, maybe today you're like, woo, you should have seen it on June 8th. We have made strides, so it's coming. I like the way they work. I like the way they approach it. And that's all we ask is just be coachable, continue to give us great effort, great attitude, and the progress will come. Sometimes as coaches you want it to happen today, and that's just not realistic. It takes time.
About identity. How does that get created? I mean, did they create their own identity? What's your role in that? And what is your perfect identity that you love to have your team have?
Yeah, I think your identity is what do you talk about? What do you watch on film? And then what do you practice every single day? You can't say your identity is one thing and then it's not what you reinforce every single day. So again, I always put this on us as coaches of our identity should shine through. When somebody comes and watches us practice. Because if it doesn't, then we're not doing the right things to get them there, and that's our job to make sure that when you come watch us play, we play incredibly hard, we play incredibly unselfish. They have a lot of enthusiasm with the game, and those are the things that we want to be about on an everyday basis. And it doesn't mean every day is going to go perfectly, but you just need to do those things consistently enough, and then the wins will follow.
Have you had to coach effort?
I think you have to always talk about effort and coach effort because again, if that's your identity is effort, I think everybody plays fairly hard. It's just when you talk about trying to make an NCAA tournament or trying to play for a Big 12 championship, you're trying to be in that top 10%, of everybody in the country. So, what separates you from what everybody else is doing? When everybody has their meetings in the summer, fall, whenever they have it, who wants to win a Big 12 championship? My guess is every single team raises their hand. It's what are you going to do to try to get yourself and separate yourself from everybody else? And so that's the piece of like when you're talking about effort, it's everybody's giving effort. How can you give just a little bit more than everybody else?
Time frame for Joseph Yesufu, is anything different from what you thought?
So far, he's right on schedule. We'll continue to, hopefully make progress there. I think he feels good about where he's at. I think when we come back from the Italy trip, we'll start to, our plan is to start to work him into some half-court stuff, some drill work, and then kind of take it from there. So, about the start of school, starting to get him back on the floor again.
Will you mix and match your lineups in Italy? Mix and match your lineups?
Yeah, in Italy, it'll be, we'll just throw different lineups there just to get a look at different things. Some guys will play more or less. We'll try to play the younger guys a little more just to get them some post-high school experience, I guess. And you never know what you're going to get over there. Sometimes you get a great game and really challenge, and sometimes you don't. So I just want us to, play together and play the way we want them to play every night. And I don't expect it to be great. You travel and do all that stuff. We're not doing a shoot around, no walkthrough, no, just go play. It's the way they like it,
No scouting report, we even do that? How will you know who you?
Yeah, they're going to have 5, we're going to have 5, and toss her up. So we'll figure out who can shoot it by halftime.
I mean, how do you weigh, I guess, the final score result while you're over there versus just seeing progression? I mean, which of those, I guess, is more important to you?
I think it's the progression. Again, I don't try to put a lot into it. I've been on several of these now, and some head coaches, they sit in the stands and watch during these games, and I always felt like it's good for especially with a new group. Like I need to be out there and coach them, but I think for the most part, it's try to get them just a little bit of a rhythm together, an identity of how we want to play, but you take into account all the travel and all the stuff that goes with it. I don't have unrealistic expectations of what it's going to look like. I'd love for it to be a great game. I know last year we actually took our team to Spain when I was at Drake, and we got beaten our first game, and I think we were up 15 with like 10 minutes ago, and we played the young guys, and it was the greatest thing ever because they had to finish out a game. And whether we won or lost wasn't the point. The point is they were in a situation that they're going to see, and we got an opportunity to watch how they responded. And I'm hoping we get something like that again on this trip.
Coach, with Powell and Tinner, it looks like you have a couple of freshmen there who, at the very least, aren't afraid to compete. I'm just kind of wondering, what have you seen in them, and as freshmen, have they surprised you?
Yeah, I've really liked what they've done this summer. They've both been pleasantly surprising, as you said. A lot of times that adjustment can take longer. Some are faster, but I think they've done a great job of making that transition, and it takes a little bit of time, but you can see it each week. Each one of them makes some progress in some areas that maybe the week before they were struggling with, and I like both of them. I think they got great upside. I anticipate them, helping us throughout the year.
As far as ball handlers, it looks like that's probably where you have the most depth, maybe, and is that, I mean, how much of a plus is that to have, maybe on the floor 2 or 3 ball handlers at one time sometimes?
I think it's important to have ball handlers. It's important to know when you're not a ball handler too. The biggest thing in this league, in every league, is you got to be able to take care of the basketball, and whether that's making plays yourself or being able to, recognize some of your limitations to not get yourself in trouble. And I like this group, and for the most part, they take pretty good care of the basketball and make good decisions, and that's come a long ways from our first couple weeks in June. So I think there's some really good upside there with those pieces and that depth.
Could you have like 2 or 3 different guys run the point in the game, or do you like to have that one guy? I don't know.
No, I like to have multiple ball handlers, multiple decision makers. Outside of your set plays, a lot of what we do is you're having a lot of different guys touch and handle the ball, and I think that helps with their development because they're asked to do it every single day in practice, and then you get into the games and that's something that they've done for an extended period of time. You're still going to have 1 or 2 guys that you like to have the ball the most, and we'll play through them, whether it be through set plays or maybe down the stretch and now you're putting guys in the spots they can be most successful.
Tucker's shoulder, and was he slowed at all this summer because of the rehab?
Yeah, he didn't get cleared until last week. It was the first time he got to play with full contact. So it was almost 4 months that he wasn't allowed to do a whole lot of anything that had contact in it. And we're still being somewhat careful with it and picking and choosing some spots and some rebounding and drills and things like that. But I believe it was last Tuesday, he got full clearance for contact.
You cringe when you see him. He took a shot or 2 on the shoulder today. You cringe at all when you see that?
pretend not to. I think that's just, I mean, as a coach, and when a player's coming back from an injury, you know, broken foot, a knee, whatever it might be, anytime they take a fall, you probably are always really, really happy when they get back up and don't grab something. So I think that's just part of, and if I feel that way, you know how the player feels, you know, as they're coming back too, like being able to take a fall and get back up and know it's okay. It's, again, that's a part of the recovery process too. It's not just, hey, you're better. It's also mentally knowing like, oh, I can take this hit and feel fine.
Tucker's an obvious leader because he knows your system. Who are those other guys that need to emerge and be leaders for you?
Yeah, I think it's pretty open. You know, from my standpoint of like this is middle of July. There's nothing set. You know, we got a group that you know we worked with today. Tomorrow will be a different group. That you know you're earning your minutes throughout the summer. It's because you have a blue jersey on or a white jersey on doesn't really mean a whole lot to me right now. It's when we watch the film, which guys are doing the things they're supposed to be doing, and then hopefully by November we got a good idea of you know what a starting five looks like, what the bench looks like, and have some roles established. But even with that, those roles aren't permanent either. You know, you get satisfied and complacent. You know, you change them. You know, our goal as a coaching staff is to make sure we got the best lineups out there. You know, to help us win games.
Coach, it seems like a guy like Akani, obviously, you know, don't really know a whole lot about him, but it seems like he can be a versatile kind of player for you, and it seems like he's got maybe a little bit more muscle than maybe you would have originally thought. Do you see him as a guy who can kind of be like an X factor kind of player? Or?
Yeah, I would love for Toby to emerge to be that guy that all right, you got him, and we can feel good about his ability to shut somebody down, and that's as you mentioned with his length. Now. And his versatility and his athleticism, he can guard multiple positions. So it's not just, hey, you can only guard a 3. He can guard a 1, 2, 3, 4, switch onto a 5, you know, have great length there. So I like what that could look like you know, because he certainly has the tools to be that.
Of the college guys that you brought in that had college experience, anyone stand out to you that maybe is a little bit better now that you've seen them in person versus what you saw on tape?
I feel like Eduardo has made tremendous strides in the last 6 weeks. You know, I thought his last 2 weeks, you can really see him doing some good things, and that's been critical as we've talked about. We are a little undersized, but he's the one guy that does have that length that you need and gives us some rim protection. But I like the production he's been giving us these last couple of weeks. He's certainly finding his way a little bit on both ends of the floor and getting more comfortable.
How comfortable is he? Looked like he was fine, kind of handling the ball away from the basket, throwing some of those backdoor passes. How comfortable is he doing that, and how important is that in your offense?
Yeah, we've told both of our bigs here in practice, I want you to take some chances. On game night, let's be a little more careful. But right now, I want them to see that they can throw it and complete it. So they're going to have to throw a couple away for us to get better at that, because such a big part of what we do is getting 5 guys and getting that paint lifted, getting some backdoor opportunities, creating some driving lanes. And the more that they can, you know, put pressure on people to have protect back cuts and stuff, it's going to open up shooters and things like that. So for right now, that's a big piece of our offense is those two being confident and comfortable making those type of plays and passes, because we do a lot through them. We like to go through them with some of our pressure release stuff, which in this league, you know, it eliminates some of the traps and things because now they have a live dribble. So you can eliminate some of the double teams and things that maybe a ball screen offense would bring. So the more comfortable they can get there, the better offense will be.
I'm kind of curious, looking at Offrey, obviously you can tell he's kind of put on some muscle, put on some weight from last year. Where is your philosophy ride in strength training? Some coaches will be end-all be-all is get them as big and strong as possible. Other coaches might look for something else. Where are you with weightlifting and strength training?
Yeah, I'm more in like a functional movement strength training. So I don't need linebackers. You know, I want them to be strong, but I also want them to be able to move, be quick, be agile. strength is important, but the fight's probably more important, so, but I think overall, just making sure that when they, when we get into game day, that they feel good and confident and in how their body feels and able to go out and perform in that way.
You go to the football team.
Yeah, they got some good ones over there too.
Any chance of addition before, in the month before the semester starts?
Yeah, we're still very much actively recruiting. There's some multiple players that we're still trying to recruit and get them here by the start of school.
Anything else for Coach? Coach, thank you.
Yep. Thank you, everyone.